Brave conquers fear this evening with a new college graduate in Miami. Aldo Amenta is a quadriplegic, but over the weekend he walked across the stage at Florida International University. He took those steps to receive his college diploma. He was able to walk with the help of an exoskeleton. Amenta was diving into a pool in 2015, hit his head. He spent the last several years learning to walk again with that exoskeleton.
That is just amazing to be able to take those steps towards something that important, that even though whatever happened to me, that didn't make me stop and make me achieve and fulfill my dreams.
Yeah, he never stopped. He just got a degree in electrical engineering. He plans to pursue a master's degree next.